Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, episode 47 of the B Graders. More free content for you. We don't get paid for this, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we've had a big week, Matt, and it's been a very big week both here in WA.
Yep.
And over where real bike racing happens in Europe.
Let's mention the local real bike racing, and well done to Pemberton.
Pemberton, great event run by great people.
Now it's been going for
as long as I can remember.
14 or 15 years, I think.
Maybe even longer. Early 90s, absolutely, I remember going down.
Event. Well done to Michael Freeberg, who won the criterium Saturday afternoon, and Rebecca Mackey, who won the women's criterium. Numbers down.
Well, there was good numbers, really good numbers in the women's race. In the women's race, there was really good numbers in the lower grades. The A grade women didn't turn out, which was a bit of a shame because you had completely closed roads on probably the toughest crit circuit in Western Australia.
Yep.
And the four girls who rode that all deserve to be congratulated because they put in a really good effort. Really. You know, first, Beck, you know, almost in a class of her own there on that sort of course.
Oh, undoubtedly.
And, you know, even fourth, Natalie Britz, you know, she doesn't climb particularly well, and she'll admit that, but she had the chutzpah to line up. That's a big word. I didn't want to say anything else because I might get into trouble.
Google that.
To line up and have a go, finish the race, and you know you can only race against the people there.
Especially with Natalie Britz. Don't talk her down too much.
No, I'm not talking her down. She's a great bike rider and she goes very well.
I'm not saying you're having a crack at it. Don't get me wrong at all. But she's had a couple of very good sprint finish wins this year.
She's won 2 rings in a row prior to this.
She's one of those new women to cycling.
She is from South Africa.
Mother of 2, runs around after the kids, comes out and has a crack. As we saw Mel Robinson doing the same sort of thing last year. Absolutely smack it.
And she's turning 40 soon as well. So, you know,
she'd love to hear that.
She'd love to hear that. She will be very happy to know that women probably get better as they get closer to 40, unlike us, get a lot worse. The road race, now I was really happy with this result. In A grade, Tiny Timmy Seller.
Tiny Tim.
He got up for the win in one of the biggest road races in WA. 100 odd K, 3 times.
The only road races in WA.
100 odd K, 3 times up Pump Hill. By all accounts, was lagging off the back up the last hill prior to the descent into town. Dived underneath Freeberg and Wiggins in the last corner, and they were actually looking at each other and didn't realise, and he's held them off. And Tim's one of the nice boys, been going really well for a long time. And won it well.
Glenn Parker Cycles.
He looks a lot taller.
Nice to see Glenn Parker Cycles back. His posture has changed. Nice to see Glenn Parker Cycles back at the front of the A-grade bunch.
Well, they've never stopped supporting people.
Never stopped supporting bike riders. Didn't have a team for a while. But
they've got young Jackson, Morby and Tim going around nicely. And, of course, in the women's,
Rebecca Mackey again.
Yeah, she won well. She unloaded them second time up Pump Hill and time trialled for 30k on her own. The rest of them, I'd say they'd come in 1s and 2s, but they actually came in 1s. Hard race. I think there was 6 or 8 in the race, and they all compliments to all of them for racing because, you know, you had the balls to show up and race.
We have asked a question over the last couple of weeks of all of our women cyclists out there of what do you need to race more and this and that. We've had 1 or 2 come back to us and say a couple of things, which we'll get to in the next couple of weeks on the show. But here's something that I'm starting to see a trend of, and it's really starting to get on my goat, and that is race organisers, race promoters, clubs and so forth complaining that people don't turn up to an event. All right? Over 100 people down there, good numbers.
Easily over 100 people.
Good numbers. Sometimes we, as race organisers, and I run a few races myself, some people just don't like what you're putting on, so they don't want to turn up to it. It's not what you're putting on is wrong, it's just that some people don't want to go and do it. So I'd like to see less stuff on Facebook and social media about, come and support it, we're putting all this hard work in. Putting all the hard work in, well, maybe you need to change it slightly. I know I need to change some of the things that I do slightly with running bike races. You roll up, you put it on. If they turn up, they turn up. If they don't turn up and it costs you money, don't put it on again. Then the riders will find out, oh, if we don't go and turn up,
We
they're
don't
going to
get a
take it
race.
off us.
That's it.
Okay, but let's try and cut out the bashing of
And that's not
members.
that's
for
not
turning
directed
up.
at anyone in
It's not
particular.
directed at anybody
and
in particular.
I would just like to say the Pemberton people put on a great
Superb
show.
race.
Superb race.
Superb
Free
race.
free fruit at the crit and the road race at the end and the start. It's fantastic.
It was very good.
Volunteers on every corner. They all did a magnificent job. Mate, now walking away from that and going to professional bike racing.
Professional bike racing?
One of my favourite...
European professional bike racing.
One of my favourite races of the year, the Strada Bianchi.
Yep.
In Tuscany.
Yep.
Atrocious weather.
Yep.
And it was won by a young Dutchman, Tish Benoot.
Tish Benoot.
But the big result there, my friend, the big result there is young WA rider, 22 years old, Robbie Power, finished 6th. The only Mitchelton Scott rider to finish.
Really?
He finished ahead of people like Zdeněk Štibar and the great Peter Sagan.
Who I said was going to win, and then he didn't. So Robbie Power ran 6th, Peter Sagan ran 8th. And as Matt said, Tish Benoot. Then they had Bardet.
And then Van Aert.
And Van Aert. Now, Van Aert is the cyclocross champion. And he's basically in these races to race familiarisation. It's going to take a couple of years to get the legs a bit hardened for the longer distance. But, of course, Strada Bianchi is just a little bit shorter than the other ones.
It's only 200k, not 260k.
It's only 5.5 hours of suffering in the rain and the grit.
And there's a great video on Facebook, I don't know if we'll be able to find it or not, of Van Aert going up the hill into Siena. Now, I've walked up that hill a few times. It's hard to walk up, let alone ride up. Big flagstone blocks of granite, slippery as hell when it's wet. He falls off his bike, and he's a world cyclocross champion.
He can handle a bike.
He doesn't handle it badly.
No.
He just can't get traction, but he does the cyclocross thing, jumps back up, pushes it the 10 metres to get the flat, jumps on his bike and pedals off. But the motorbike struggled to go up that hill.
And of course, the Bowles Dolan girl won the
she did,
Strada Bianchi for the women.
She did. It's the world champion. No, the Olympic gold medalist.
Gold medalist.
Anna van der Breggen.
Do you want to say that again?
Anna van der Breggen. I think I got it.
A good win by Anna van der Breggen in the Strada Bianchi for women.
And she did it really well.
I like how they put the women's race on before the men's race. They get to share the spectacle with the men, and that's how
crowds
it should
are still there on the sideline, and
well,
I think a lot of races could learn from that, because the women's racing is just as exciting as the men's racing. Sometimes even more so, because they're racing a lot of the time pure passion, because they don't get paid a lot, mate.
They get paid very much.
They get paid very, very little.
Exactly right.
We've also had Paris-Nice on. Anu de Mar won a really good, exciting finish of stage 1. And then Dylan Groenewegen.
I'll tell you what, this Dylan Groenewegen,
he's gone all right.
When he gets to the front, he just rides away.
He does.
In the last 100 metres, it's not like they all get to a certain level. Like you see the aerial shot of some sprints, or most sprints you see, there's one rider will come late, or they'll be like neck and neck and neck and neck for the last 80 or 90 metres. Groenewegen gets to the front in that last 80 to 90 metres, and he just keeps on riding away. It's like somebody attacking up a climb. He just rides away.
It was fantastic. It was a great win.
Absolutely superb.
So Paris-Nice is on. And
big shout out to Brenton Jones, Delco Marseille. Brenton Jones was riding for JLT last year. Before then he rode for Avanti. He ran 16th last night.
He also Drapac for a year as well,
Drapac in there as well, learning his trade from Graham Brown. He's in the Paris-Nice. He ran 16th last night, or overnight, sorry. He's learning what the real big boys are all about, isn't
it? And I actually just listened to an interview with him this morning. He wasn't expecting to get a ride. He was he thought he was in with the mix, but he was surprised to get the call, because he's had a few good results early on, and they want to teach him, get him up, because he is a star of the future.
He is. Now, we sent possibly our smallest team to a World Track Championships in goodness knows how many decades, and quite possibly one of our most successful. Cameron Meyer, no need to talk this bloke up. He just won his 5th World Point Score Championships. Well done to Cameron.
Probably the endurance track rider of a generation. He didn't have it easy this time, but he did it.
Took him on this time.
Took him on. He got it well. 3rd in the Madison with Callum Scottson.
And Callum Scottson 3rd in the scratch race. Steph Morton got 2nd in the sprint again behind Vogel from Germany. So well done to Steph. She'll be looking for a gold medal in the Commonwealth Games.
Absolutely. Matthew Glazer had a great... He had a magnificent World Track titles. Not only did he win the sprint...
He won the sprint title. Well done, Matty Glazer.
Now, there was something like 23 riders under 10 seconds in qualifying. 23
riders qualified under 10 seconds. They rode 9 point something. And to give you an idea, Azul Hasni Awang from Malaysia, who last year was the world Kieran champion, didn't defend his title this time, unfortunately. He rode 10.07 and didn't get to go see another round. That's how good the sprinting quality was at this World Championship.
But if you want to see how good the sprinting quality is, you'd have to go no further than the kilo, Matt.
Yep.
Now, it wasn't long ago that you'd have to go to altitude to break a minute.
Yep.
Now, we're at Apeldoorn. We're in Holland. We're below sea level.
Freezing cold.
Freezing cold. The gold, silver and bronze medalists all rode sub 1 minute twice in a day.
Yep.
Twice in a day.
Yep.
Now, when I can tell you Matt Glaetzer rode his time in the final of 59.5 something, he's got off his bike and gone, I think I've got this. I'm pretty sure I've got this. Then the Dutchie, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, I'm very sorry. Something like that. He's come out and he has beaten him by 2/10. Yep. It's enough. They had to carry him off his bike, put him in the recovery position on the side of the track, take his shoes off. He could not stand, but 3 guys under a minute.
Yep, that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Also, a big mention to Kristen Wild, or Wield. We've seen her race over the years here in Perth, Western Australia. She's been out here several times. She won 3, count them up, 3 world titles. She won the Omnium, she won the Scratchy, and she won the points race. So well done to Kirsten Wild.
You can't ask more than that, can you?
I think she won that anyway.
No, she did pretty good. She did very, very good.
Hey, we still picked up another 15 or 20 people on the YouTube. Please subscribe to us on YouTube because we've got the Mariana Voss skin suit up for grabs. That's going to be given away to somebody who, once we get to 500 on YouTube, of course, we get starting to close in on 600 on our Facebook page. So thank you very much for that.
Matt1 at iinet.net.au. Send us your feedback. Don't go and complain to other people if you don't like us. Tell us what you don't like. Maybe then we'll be able to change it.
I just have to say congratulations Nick Graham Dawson last week, the winner of the final round of the Midweek Mayhem Series, and the series winner was Stephen Hall. Well done, Stevie Hall.
Spoke to Stevie down at Pemberton. He was a little bit still barley-bellied and he raced Pemby and did still obviously very, very well. Tyler Lindorff led that sprint out in the crit, by the way.
A long way.
Long way. Held everyone bar Michael Freeberger, and he was riding 52.17.
Yeah, some great vision there from Michael Freeberger also from having that win.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend we have the State 40k time trial. It's at Wandy.
And we also have West Coast Masters out at Pribra Lake. I'm going off to have a beer with Clay Worthington. So
I hope you enjoy that. I'm going back to work because I have to earn a living. Pay for legal costs.
Somebody has to.